Let's go down here. So I'll just go through this part really quick. They changed the gold price and the stats on a lot of items. If you look, Death Cap up 300 gold, Ludens up 300 gold, Seekers stats straight nerfed, Hourglass up 500 gold for less armor, Archangel's up 100 gold, Rod of Ages up 300 gold, Rylai is up 200 gold, Guy is up 100 gold. Like, they're changing the price of a lot of items here, but as I explained earlier, how you have more ambient gold, you have more minion gold, and you're spending less on consumables and disposables. I think even with these gold prices, you're going to be getting these items easier and faster, just based in the overall macro look on things, rather than just looking directly at the item. Scrolling down here. Soul Stealer is still in the game. They removed sort of the culprit that kept Soul Stealer. It builds out of a Dark Seal, which is like a mini Soul Stealer. It grants you glory on kill. You can only lose 10 stacks on dying. Once you don't have to get full stacks to get the bonus. You get 10% movement speed if you have 15 glory. They changed the CDR from getting the stack bonus on the Soul Stealer, which makes sense because you get CDR a lot from a lot of places now, so you might be overcapped already by the time to get there, so the movement speed is always going to be pretty helpful on a lot of champions. It gives you mana, so you can still build it on non-mana champions, but you get more benefit out of building it on a mana champion, so if you build like a Soul Stealer Rumble, you're not going to benefit from that mana at all. You gain, how much is it here? How much AP do you get? La, 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 la. Where does it tell you how much glory? Glory grants 5 ability power, so it goes up to 25, so you can actually get 125 AP from this item as well. So it still has its uses. It's less risky to buy. I'm actually interested to see on how often this item gets built, because it also gives mana, which is just helpful because there's not like a lot of mana items that you might be buying. You're mainly going for mana regen rather than just flat mana. So that's kind of interesting changes on that. Void Staff up in price. Abyssal Scepter actually went down. Lichbane up in price, but Lichbane now gives 10% CDR because you got to keep in mind that Sheen itself no longer gives AP. It gives CDR instead. So any Sheen item is going to be giving cooldown reduction now. Stinger actually is pretty strong now. More attack speed for less cost. Nashers, more attack speed, same price. They nerf Frozen Heart every single patch, man. They keep nerfing my Frozen Heart. Glacial's 100 gold more, making the Frozen Heart 200 gold more. Warden's Mail is a little bit less armor. Lot of just tweaking around of numbers. More than anything, rather than just memorizing everything they've changed, is just keeping in mind what they have changed and keeping in mind, oh yeah, Warden's Mail is a little bit less armor now. Okay, oh yeah, Glacial Shrug costs 100 gold more. And the best way that you're going to be able to realize that is going into a game, building it, and going back to base with 900 gold to buy a Glacial and going, oh shit, I need 1,000. So that's what's going to kind of get it in your mind the easiest. But you got to keep in mind this is the preseason. It's a lot of time for testing. Even in ranked right now, ranked is locked in, ranked is set. I would recommend playing ranked if you are playing, like if you did play ranked and your ranked is around where you belong, because it's going to let you test these things in an environment where it's not like you're a diamond player going and playing on a bronze account or playing normals against bronzies, where it's like, oh yeah, this item's really, really good. I'm building this item on this champion, and it's not actually that great. It's only good because you're stomping someone who has no idea what they're doing, and rather than them learning the game, they're actually learning what their mouse button does. So it's better, I think, to play. You got to keep in mind as well, you're going to be like, oh, I don't want to play against people that are the same skill level as me because I'm learning stuff. Everyone's learning stuff right now. This is the time to go and experiment. This is the time to test out stuff, and this is the time to get comfortable with the changes. Some of this stuff won't stick. Some of it will be changed around a little bit. But if you get comfortable with everything that's the way it is right now, you're going to be able to just kind of look at the tweaks that they make over the next little bit and address it really quickly. This is just like a huge wave of changes all at once. So don't be afraid to get your hands dirty with it. I was playing a lot of games yesterday, and like people were raging at their teammates for doing poorly in solo queue games, or the typical solo queue salt that you would see, and you're just like, hey buddy, like winning and losing this game really doesn't matter at all. What's with the Salt Lord syndrome? So I would, even more so than normal, ignore those people and just go and experiment. Spectre's Cowl, less magic resist. However, Banshees and Spirit Visage give more magic resist. 70 magic resist on an item is crazy. Magic resist has been traditionally pretty hard to itemize, but you can get 70 out of one item now, which is pretty strong. Bambi Cinder, 100 gold more. Sunfire, 100 gold more. Like, just a lot of tweaks here and there, and the overall trend of the item tweaks is more money for the same or slightly less stats. The Aegis Aura is now 10, so it would be the Locket. Aura is now 10 rather than 15. I think they nerfed that from 20 last patch as well. No one was ever really buying the Magic Resist Aura item for the longest time. I think it was on Soul Shroud, and then or that might have been a different Aura. But basically, no one was buying Aura items for the longest time, and then everyone realized how damn gold efficient and powerful they were in a team comp, and now they just keep getting nerfed every patch. Pretty big changes to the jungle itemization. Machete costs a little bit less, but you got to keep in mind potions cost more. You have more starting gold, but keep in mind again potions cost more. So Hunter's Machete being 350 and starting with 500 gold, it actually does let you start with 3 health potions in the jungle rather than 2, but still not as beneficial as you would think it is on first look. They removed the old stuff from it. It now gives you 8% lifesteal versus monsters, and basic attacks deal 20 bonus magic damage on hit, and you get the bonus experience, which I talked about earlier here. Hunter's Talisman, you can do that if you don't want the machete, because this is lifesteal on hit. You don't need that for someone who's doing most of their damage with abilities like Fiddle. Damaging a monster steals 20 health over 5 seconds. Killing a monster grants the bonus experience, and it gives you mana regen, which is really helpful. Whatever one you choose to go doesn't really matter because it takes that item and that item plus the combination cost to build into any of the jungle items, which now have different passives and whatnot on them, obviously. And then once you upgrade them, you get mana regen from it, you get lifesteal versus monsters from it, and you get more bonus experience. So by being able to get your jungle item faster, you snowball faster because you're getting more experience from it. It no longer grants bonus gold though. They removed the rangers, they removed the poachers, so there's only the skirmisher shaper, stalker's blade, and they added a new thing, which is recycling the poacher's knife art. Nice job, Rito. And it gives you, it's basically a mini ward stone in the jungle, so you don't actually have to go full competitive jungler, build sightstone and be the team bitch. You can actually just buy this item and then you have the sightstone control in the jungle, and you can still get the sweepers, your trinket, and still have the wards on your actual jungle item. It just feels weird though not having a smite that helps you like with the ranger smite, and not having a smite that you can smite someone else with. Like the smite you only can smite champions with, and it's just a single target smite. But you're able to have a wardstone. Keeping in mind as well as when the game goes really long, you don't have to have a jungle item and a wardstone in your inventory. Your jungle item is your wardstone, which is kind of cool. And they changed around a bunch of the way the enchantments work. Jungle items are overall more expensive now in the long run. But I mean, Runeglaive gives 50 more mana. It's less ability power. I think Runeglaive got nerfed, actually. Cinderhulk's just more money. Warrior got super buffed. It gained 15 AD. It lost 10 armor pen, but it gained 15 AD. Okay, Warrior. And the Devourer is actually cheaper than the other enchantments. It starts with the sated magic damage on hit is 60 rather than 50. It has a little bit less attack speed, though. But you're able to get it slightly faster. 200 gold doesn't seem like much, but if you backed and you're 200 gold away from getting this item, but now you can get it because it's not 200 gold more than it is. It could have been 625, which isn't quite 200, but by being a little bit cheaper, if you're able to get it like on that back rather than having to go back into the jungle, farm 1 camp or 2 camps, then come back and buy it, it's a lot of time spent less wasted and a lot of time that you can start farming up the Devourer stacks earlier. So it'll help you rubber band and snowball yourself stronger just by being a little cheaper on the initial buy. Ancient Coin now gives 4 gold when a nearby minion dies, up from 3. The coin always gave you so much money as a support, but it didn't really have many stats that were combat useful. A lot of champions that would like Blitzcrank that would want a coin for the movement speed later wouldn't go with a coin early in lane, it'd go with a relic shield. I think the support items overall have just gotten a lot more gold generation ability. So this is 4 from 3. This is 6 from 4. Like you're getting so much more money from the coin and whatnot. And the active cooldown on the Talisman of Ascension is now 60 seconds, up from 40, because 40 was ridiculously low. Still gives you the more bonus. The Relic Shield now actually has a gold per 10 multiplier on it. So if your team isn't sharing and playing nice and letting you get that share with them, you can still get gold per 10. However, it doesn't scale up as you build through the series. It's still 2 gold per 10 on Face of the Mountain. Face of the Mountain's active shield detonating now slows enemies by 40% for 2 seconds instead of dealing damage. This makes a lot more sense as like a supporty type choice. Rather than doing damage with the Face of the Mountain exploding, the slowing and mini Randuin's effect is going to be a lot more effective. And 40% for 2 seconds is going to feel very, very strong actually. The heal is only 50 now. It doesn't scale with your maximum health. 8 gold on damage or attack on enemy structure. It's quite a lot. 8 gold on damage or attack of enemy structure. Spell Thief's Edge. I've heard stories of, and I'd actually might consider it, because this is the first time I've actually looked into the support items, I won't lie, of people building Spell Thief's Edge in a solo lane. 8 gold every time you attack your lane opponent. And it's only 350 gold, so that lets you get 3 health potions with it, or a refillable potion. Which you might just go for a refillable potion if you're going for the financially economy save for my future build path. Might as well save some money on the potions as well. The Frostfang, 15 gold on damage or to a champion or structure from 10. So support items is giving you ridiculous amounts of money. This one's still 15. Unique active Embrace no longer exists. Unique active. Summon 2 Icy Ghosts for 6 seconds that seek out nearby enemy champions. Ghost reveal on contact and reduce their movement speed by 40%. 40% slow for 4 seconds. That's going to be so strong for catching people. And I think it's a lot stronger than just the damage slow active that it used to be on the Frost Queens. And we still have spooky ghosts in the game. So that's good. I was really worried when they removed spooky ghost item. But we just got it on here now. Everything's better. Mikhail's a little bit less magic resistance. Zeke's costs a little bit more. But yeah, overall, it looks like supports are going to have a lot more gold income as well. Which makes sense because you're getting more money for farming. So the supports probably just want to keep up and be impoverished, but not even more impoverished feeling in comparison with everyone else on their team than they were before. But that also kind of adds to you're getting a lot more gold early, you're getting your items a lot early, and snowballing is a lot more effective, and pushing is a lot more effective. It just feels like they're trying to push games to not be very long. Like I think the average feel of a game for me lately has been 25 to 28 minutes, somewhere in that area. Anything that's gone over 30 has just felt crazy long. Like going over 30 lately has been feeling like what used to be going over 45. All right, Vision Ward, the pink one, costs 75 gold now instead of 100, and you can no longer buy the green wards. Stealth Ward duration is now 2.5 minutes instead of 3. Your trinket automatically upgrades itself, which will probably be in here later. Upon death or expiration, wards will leave rubble that'll show the color, so enemies can see your rubble, you can see your own rubble. Basically, you can see your own rubble and the enemy's rubble. They have the same things that they can see. You can see where there's been wards before. Wards now indicate their vision range while being placed. That's pretty cool. That's nice little effectiveness change. The removal of green wards from the shop, as I touched on earlier, a lot less disposable and consumables bought because of that throughout the game. Sightstone now only holds 3 wards. In addition to Ruby Sightstone, can now combine with tier 2 support items. So Sightstone actually is a stepping stone. It's not an end build. It combines with stuff to do certain things. So this has 3 ward charges now. This has 4 ward charges now, down from 5. Item active cooldowns are reduced by 10%. So if you upgrade to the Ruby Sightstone, rather than just getting a little bit more health in the extra ward slot, you actually reduce the cooldown on your active items, which is actually really cool. So there's a lot of choices rather than just buy your sightstone, never touch the ruby sightstone ever until your last buy and you have a little bit extra money, which is never going to happen because I'm an impoverished support player. So here's two items. It's two or three. It looks like three. Three items that build out of sightstones. They combined with the other support items, which is like here is Sightstone and Frostfang. It has ambient gold, mana regen. You can kind of see all the stats here. Basically, like here the Frostfang, it keeps its 15 additional gold, but it also has your Sightstone item and your support item into the same area, and it builds them into each other together. So you still get how many ward holds 4 charges as well. So I don't know. It's really interesting. I don't play support, so I won't be building them that often. But here's the one that builds out of the Nomad's Medallion. I don't know if I would ever be buying this one. If I built the Medallion, I'm probably wanting the movement speed from it anyway. So I'd probably build the Medallion, and I'd probably build the Ruby Sightstone so that I have the reduced cooldown on the Nomad Medallion so I could speed it up and go fast more often. But this still gives you your Sightstone here is still giving you that gold regen. And here, this is the Targon's one. You got to keep in mind the usage on the Sightstone items is still going to be to place a ward. So you don't get the shield with the Targon's one, you don't get the movement speed with the coin one, and you don't get the spooky ghosts with the ice one. So that's the trade-off of building your Sightstone with your support item, rather than just going into the Ruby Sightstone. Scrying Orb has been removed. See you later. Purchasing, upgrading, or swapping trinkets no longer cost gold. Swapping between the ward line and sweeping line puts your trinket on a cooldown for 2 minutes. Makes sense. The ward duration from your warding trinket scales with your level, and it generates charges. Generates a new charge every however often. Can now store up to 2 wards at a time. Starts with 1 charge. This is the Sightstone. This used to be like the upgraded Sightstone where it could store more than 1 charge, but now it just starts storing charges right away. And then you can change it at level 9. This is basically the new Scrying Orb, where it will drop a ward. I don't think it gives vision of people that are hit by it for a certain amount of time, but it gives vision of the area. This one's nice because it holds charges and it gives you that long duration stealth ward. This ward is not stealth, but you can use it from much further away. It's only a 1-hit ward and you can't use it for a teleport or a jack's jump because it's not targetable. But they last indefinitely, so if you're able to just start like looking out for vision and shooting off these wards everywhere, they last forever. They're visible, so as soon as someone sees it, they'll just hit it. It's not like a visible pink ward that's 5 hits to kill that you might be able to defend. It's just 1 hit, someone sees it and they kill it. But the way it works is kind of interesting. But those are your 2 warding trinkets, and here's your 2 sweeping trinkets. In addition to disabling wards, sweeping lens will spawn warning particles when it finds an object you can't see. So if it's a stealth champion or a pink ward, a lot of people didn't realize this. If there's a pink ward in a bush and you can't see the pink ward and you sweep it, the sweeper never would really tell you that there was a pink ward there because it wasn't an invisible item that it was detecting. It was actually a visible ward, so you'd have to see it. Check for a pink ward, you'd have to actually step into the bush. But it'll now spawn a warning when it goes over that, or a warning when it goes over a champion. The range of the sweeping lens just scales with level. The cooldown scales with level. Rather than having these breakpoints where it's your range is bigger and your cooldown is lower once you reach a certain level, like level 9, I think. Now it just scales all throughout the game, so a level 8 support doesn't feel significantly weaker and more useless than a level 9 support. Let's see here. And also the size of the sweeping radius goes up. At level 9, you can alter your sweeping lens into an Oracle's lens, which once altered Oracle lens, instead of constantly sweeping the air around your champion for 10 seconds, it no longer grants true sight. So, although pink wards are cheaper, and you can't buy the stealth wards, so you're probably only going to be buying pink wards for most of your disposables. Pink wards are your only way to really see stealth units. You get a warning when you sweep a stealth unit, but you don't actually see the stealth units, so you're going to be needing pink wards a lot more often. So you can't just like sweep and then fight a Cali. You have to actually still drop the pink ward there. And you can't upgrade your warding stone into a pink ward dropper if they have a lot of stealth and whatnot. So you're actually going to have to be actively buying pink wards, which isn't that bad, but it's kind of annoying if you have a really good spot on your pink ward and you have a pink ward on the other end of the map, like deep in their jungle, and you put it in there and they don't know about it, and you're like, yeah, we got that deep ward vision, but you're fighting in a Cali and you're going to need to be dropping a pink ward in the fight. You can only drop the pink ward to Seer. You can't get an Oracle's sweeper that gives true sight. So dropping the pink ward is going to be the only way to Seer, which is going to delete your other pink ward location, which is frustrating. In addition to disabling wards, will spawn warning particles over time that you can't see. The size is increased by 50%, and this one's kind of cool where I'm assuming this is the one that people will buy. Since you sweep an area if there's no wards in it, if you didn't have the Oracle's one before, you wouldn't be able to sweep any more wards. This sweeper just follows you. It's basically the disco. It returned in full swing. You put it on yourself, and you are just a giant sweeper with bigger range, and you walk around sweeping wards like a giant ward sweeping red umbrella. It's wonderful. So Doran's shield cost. They're kind of tidying stuff up, like the starting items, to not be leaving you with like 10 extra gold, like you would have been here if you buy 3 health potions and a Doran's blade starting with 500 gold. You'd have 10 gold left over. Now it's just 450 gold, so you can or sorry. If you buy 1 potion, not 3. It's just 450 gold. Doran's Blade's 450 gold. Doran's Ring was always 400. Here's the Dark Seal that builds into the Magi's that has the mana. And this is the mini Magi's because you still get stacks on it. The stacks here grant 3 glory per stack. And you can hold up to 10, which is kind of cool. But if you get like early snowballing with this item, this is a starting item that costs 400 gold. It's the same as a Doran's Ring. Gives you base mana, gives you bonus healing from potions, so it's actually pretty helpful. Gives you base AP of 15, same as the Doran's Ring, but he gains you 3 ability power from a stack of glory, and you get 2 glory from a kill or 1 glory from an assist. It gets doubled those gain rates when you get a Soul Stealer, but if you get 10 stacks of glory on your starting item, even if you never intend on getting into a Soul Stealer, that item's giving you 100 mana, 15 plus 30 AP, so 45 AP, and more bonus healing from potions, all for 400 gold a starting item. Not that bad. The Cull here, 450 gold. You can buy a potion with it, same price as a Doran's Blade. Gives you 5 attack damage instead of 8, but instead of 3% lifesteal, it gives you 3 life on hit. You'd have to be doing 100 damage before mitigation, or sorry, after mitigation, for your 3% lifesteal on a Doran's Blade to heal you for as much as 3 life on hit. Killing a monster grants 1 additional gold, so you could kill up to 100, that gives you 100 gold, and as soon as you kill 100 monsters, it instantly gives you 300 gold as well, and then disables the passive. So it's kind of the new farming item in place of Avarice, but you can start with it, which makes a lot more sense than having to go back to buy a farming item. Doran's Blade though will scale the lifesteal on Doran's Blade, and if you take the lifesteal in your masteries, you get 3% from here. Buy 2 Doran's Blade, that's 6%. You get the masteries, that's 8%. So that might scale better. I'm not sure how Cull will play into the game. Potions now cost 50 gold. I've been touching on that a lot, but I haven't directly said it. Potions now cost 50 gold rather than 35, and you're limited to one type of healing potion, which basically means there's the refillable flask, there's the corrupting flask, there's the health potion here. If you have a flask, you can't buy potions. If you have a potion, you can't buy flask. Makes sense. Here's the refillable potion. It costs 150 gold. It consumes a charge to restore 100 health over 10 seconds. Hold 2 charges. So it's basically 2 potions for the price of 3, but when you go back to the shop, you refill them, and then you're already in the green for money. With that said, if you buy this refillable potion, you can't buy other potions with it, so you're going to lane with only 2 potions maximum. But you got to keep in mind, how much do these potions cost? You can't buy a stack of 5 because you only have the refillable potion here for 2. Do you really want to buy a stack of 5 potions for 250 gold? That's quite a bit of wasted money. So the refillable potion actually feels nice, and it actually builds into a couple other things. The Hunter's Potion, killing a large monster grants 1 charge, so this gives you more healing in the jungle. You might be able to use it in lane if you go in and kill a camp from in lane type thing. However, this is 400 gold, but it also gives mana over 8 seconds. It can hold 5 charges and refills upon visiting the shop. Um, this is the potion I was starting with. This is kind of the replace of the flask. It's 500 gold. It feels really weird just buying a flask and not being able to afford anything else, but it holds 3 charges. Each charge restores 150 health and 50 mana over 12 seconds. And it also gives you Touch of Corruption, which makes you deal extra damage with your single target spells and basic attacks that burn. So it'll just keep refreshing the burn when you do damage and not actually do all this damage on a hit. But it does do damage over time, so this gives you healing and sustain in lane, but it also is a aggressive item. And that's one thing that I'm forgetting to do right now is I keep forgetting to actually use the damage on it because
What?
I'm so used to it just being for healing or mana regen. But one thing to keep in mind, consumes a charge and restores 100 health over 10 seconds, whereas the corrupting potion restores 150 health over 12 seconds. I think the health potions are 150 health over 10 seconds as well. So the refillable potion doesn't give you as much healing. So it's not even 2 health potions will be better than 2 refillables, but the refillable also builds into these other potions as well. But for the most part, unless you're going with like a Doran's Blade start, doing a camp, then going back to buy a refillable potion, if you're starting with some type of flask, it's mainly so far what I've seen is just corrupting potion. Until I see something to say otherwise, that maybe there is a good combination of potion that isn't corrupting potion, but corrupting potion just feels like the best. Elixir of Ruin was removed. Elixir of Iron, all elixirs now cost 500 gold rather than 400. Elixir of Iron now gives 300 health, but it no longer reduces the effectiveness of slows by 25. A lot of people seemed confused in my stream chat yesterday that Elixir of Iron only gives health, and they're like, "Oh, Elixir of Iron doesn't give tenacity anymore." It still gives tenacity. It just doesn't remove the slow. It's removed the slow resist. It doesn't give you slow resist anymore, but it still gives you tenacity. Size increase slightly reduced. That sucks. It was always fun being big, but it still gives you the tenacity plus 300 health, which is really nice. Elixir of Sorcery is now more AP for 100 gold more. And Elixir of Wrath is 30 AD rather than 25. The Bloodlust Heal is 15% of all physical damage dealt rather than 10. So this is like, it heals you on auto attacks because it's physical damage as well as on physical spells. So like a Pantheon Spear will heal you, which is pretty crazy. It doesn't say it in here in the context, but it says 15% of all physical damage dealt. It used to be 15% or 10% of all physical damage dealt to champions, and I'm assuming that remains the same. It doesn't say that they changed it, but it also doesn't say champions explicitly in here. So that's something I'd have to look for in game. Kills and assists no longer extend the duration. So you sometimes be able to go impotent on an Elixir of Wrath. You just buy it knowing that you're going to go and fight, and you just keep refreshing the duration on it by 30 seconds every time you get a kill or assist. You can no longer go infinite on it. Boots now cost 300 rather than 325. A lot of changes to boots. Zerkers, Tabbies, Merc Treads all cost the same amount of money. Zerkers give you 5 attack speed more for 100 gold more, which for slot efficiency is really nice as well. You get 5 extra attack speed out of that slot. Costs a little more, but you get it without having to fill up other inventory slots. Merc Treads, in my opinion, so far have been that they suck super huge now. Yes, they cost a little bit less. They're 100 gold less. The tenacity on them went down from 35% tenacity to 20, almost cut right in half. So it doesn't even feel that beneficial. Tabbies went up 100 gold to give you 25 more, or to give you 5 more armor for 100 gold. Tabbies no longer feel like that budget buy. They're like really expensive. The boots that I've actually been buying a lot now are Swifties, because you got to keep in mind all of those boots are 1100. Swifties are 800, and they actually give you more movement speed than they did before, 5 more. So the movement speed on Swifties is 20 more than Zerkers, 20 more than Merc Treads, which basically, if you look at it here, is a free Alacrity enchantment. So if you don't need the crappy 20% tenacity or the 30 armor and the auto attack reduction, Swifties aren't that bad. As of right now, like we'll see. Everything like I said earlier as well. I'm testing stuff out. The Ionian boots of Lucidity are actually pretty awesome as well. They cost the same amount as Swifties. You got to keep in mind it's 300 gold cheaper than those other options. The cooldown reduction on them is 10% rather than 15. The only way to get a multiple of 5 cooldown reduction that's not in your runes now is your masteries, and that's kind of what it used to be before. You get 5% from your masteries, and then you'd have to get 5% from another source, or you would never really be able. You'd always be 5% over cap or 5% under cap because 40% is the cap. The masteries now scale you 5% over cap, so now these are 10% cooldown reduction rather than 15. So if you have rune pages that have 5% CDR in them, I'd recommend turning that into 10 somehow. Or if you have the scaling cooldown reduction per level, I'd recommend turning that into 10 or to 20. The reason that Ionian boots are a lot better now, I think, is the 10% cooldown reduction now applies to summoner spells as well, which is great. That's 10% cooldown off your flash. That's 30 seconds off your flash if you bought this, but you don't have the masteries in your to reduce your cooldown. However, I haven't been building them on a lot of champions, like for instance Gangplank, where I would normally build it, because for the previous example, Essence Reaver and Trinity Force, those two items give you 40% CDR. They cap you. I'm assuming that they're going to maybe take the cooldown reduction extra on Essence Reaver down by 10%, so that maybe it'll be worth it to buy Ionian Boots. But it would still be nice to get the Summoner spell cooldown and overcap your CDR in some situations mainly, but it just feels like too much of a wasted stat. Um, it just seems too easy to get CDR for physical champions, at least right now. And then there's all of the boots costs. The enchantments have gone down by 25 gold, so you need 450 rather than 475 to enchant them. And captains are actually now 450 as well rather than 600 because they were just too damn expensive. I heard that they're removing home guard, but they're still right there as well. They're still in this patch.